Hello and welcome to the. I didn't check the 77. I guarantee this is 77. Welcome to the
I'm pretty
77th
sure it's
episode
77.
of the Gochuucast. Um, yeah,
You
we
went from
don't.
guaranteed to pretty sure. That does not sound
Well,
like a
now
good
now
thing.
that
I
I've looked, I
I
guarantee it.
guarantee.
I guarantee it now that I've looked. So
I believe you. I believe
77,
you.
77. We're moving up
It
there in
is
the
funny
numbers.
going to the looking at the page, seeing the free rent copyright, just copium uh
The
thumbnail.
thumbnail, yeah.
Especially because we just had a conversation about YouTube weird copyright stuff beforehand.
Yeah,
Yes,
Um,
that stuff is whack.
very
we don't
whack.
have to deal with that because we're audio only,
Yeah,
and there's nothing to copyright.
that's Daniel with his channel. He's
Yeah,
unfortunately got to go through
main channel
all of
issue.
those silly rules. So,
Yeah,
I
I
feel
feel
bad.
like that.
So, what do I
You,
haven't done
you had
very much
something
this week, but there has been one major announcement that
big.
it was actually announced before the last episode came out, but we recorded early in the week. But
Gotcha.
I guess it's not an announcement; it's more of like an informed leak. But Blue Box is getting an anime, and I'm
Oh, right. Okay.
kind of glad we didn't talk about this when it first happened because there was a another quote to leak that said that Cloverworks was going to be doing it. But since then, that's been just kind of backed off on basically. And
Mhm.
now we don't know. We don't know who's doing it. But based on the way that it got backed off, I feel like okay, it's probably definitely not Cloverworks, even though that was the original quote leak.
You've read this manga, right?
Yes, this is one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
I remember you mentioned this as like one of your favorites. Yeah,
Daniel's read some of it too. I don't think
gotcha.
he's caught up yet.
I got like halfway through. This is my big problem. I will binge the fuck out of something, but if I don't finish it, God
If
knows
you
when
don't
I'm picking
finish
it
it
back
one
up.
sitting. No,
Yeah,
that's exactly what happens with me too.
especially because I'd already been spoiled on like stuff that happens like way later, and so it's like I'm not in any rush because I know. I guess is the big thing. Uh,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's not too much to spoil about it anyway. To
yeah, I mean
begin
it's
with,
it's pretty
so.
straightforward. I knew even if I hadn't been spoiled, I knew from the beginning.
Yes, this is what it
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
was.
I just
The
found it
the
here. So
leaks that it's getting in anime are very credible, but the studio leak was not. Is the important thing. But
yeah, it doesn't say anything here.
yeah, the original rumors were Cloverworks just because there was some Chinese publication that said that Cloverworks was doing it or something like that.
Yeah.
And since then they've been like, nope, that information is not true.
Yeah, and it was like, because always like kind of questionable, I guess, because the leakers were like, well, Aniplex uh isn't like producing this, and so they were like, if Aniplex isn't doing it, then why is like Cloverworks being attached to it? And then like same with Toho, because like Toho is the producer for Spy Family, which I guess is also like a WIT production thing or WIT studio, but
Mm-hmm.
um. But they're like, well, if neither of these companies are funding it, then who is Cloverworks working with? But it would seem there was a light kerfuffle. So who knows who might be animating it?
So there's no like actual release date or anything like that. It's just from the leaks. It's just in
No,
production or
it's
something, right?
allegedly it should get announced soon. That's usually how that goes.
Yeah.
But as it stands right now, there's nothing official has been said. It's all just like credible leaks saying like this is going to be something that we're going to get information about soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Speaking of
pretty.
manga, I acquired a package when I stepped away at the very beginning. I believe it should
Okay.
have my first volume of Bochi the Rock that dropped.
Gotcha.
No.
Okay.
That's cool. Even though I'm like, I really can't afford
I was gonna say, have
any
you
more new
read?
series for the
That's
shelf.
fair, that's fair.
No,
Have
I
you
haven't
read
read
any of
it.
Mochi yet?
No,
That's fair.
not yet.
I need to get back to it. I've read like 2 arcs past the anime probably. I definitely can do more, but I just haven't yet.
Yeah,
How
I'll
many
get to it eventually.
how many volumes of the manga have been translated so far, or like
This is the
in
first
terms
one.
of physical? Oh, this is
Yeah.
the first one. Okay.
Yeah, it
Oh,
like just got picked up.
gotcha. Okay. Okay. I wonder
It
how
wasn't
fast
like
it'll
a
come out. Yeah.
It's
super
yen
popular
press,
thing.
so it's gonna be 4 month cycle because they hate us.
Yeah. Dude, that's. I mean, yeah. It's just a shame because because of the popularity. It's
Yeah,
like
like
be nice if they could catch up.
I can kind of get it for novels because those are harder to translate. But like, come
Sure.
on, dude, Bochi the Rock can't be that difficult to
This is
difficult to
like
translate.
No.
this is like the tiniest. Like it's not quite a 4 coma, but it's like very short stories
Yep.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
like
just. How much does how far does the first volume go to, like in terms of like anime?
I think the
Like,
anime did the first like 2 volumes mostly.
Anime,
okay, so about halfway out,
yeah,
right? Yeah. Okay,
anime probably
interesting.
did a good amount. I mean, it's if I had to guess, just based on how long most manga um publications are, probably like what is the equivalent of like 3 volumes. That's what the anime did.
Okay.
It's kind of guesswork, but
Yeah.
it was like 20 something chapters.
Okay, that makes
I
sense.
mean, I think it was just the first 2 volumes. It or maybe it didn't get to the end of it. I don't know. I know it was the first 8 episodes was volume 1, and that's like where you got like the title drop and shit there.
That's
But
I
other
guess
than
it is
that, I don't know.
shorter, so there's probably more chapters in each volume too.
Okay. How many volumes are out so far? Like
I want
non-translated.
to say 6, but I might be wrong.
6. Okay. Well,
Sounds about
that's
right.
yeah.
I know there's like 70 to 80 chapters
Yeah.
or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, 6 volumes as of August 2023.
Okay. So there's a lot to get to for the second season, whatever that is. So.
Yeah, we got, and I mean, we don't even know when season 2. Like, we have like
No, we don't. Yeah.
the goofy recap movies. I wonder if they're like trying to push off season 2 a little bit just so they can get the director back because he's working on Free Run right now.
Oh, gotcha.
I
Okay.
mean, yes, but we've talked about this
I
before
mean, it would
too.
take a long time
With
anyway to make,
the
but
with the music, anime in particular, there's like a lot of things required. Um, Most importantly, making music is not something that you can just do overnight.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like I just think the general play because like you don't have to like you would probably like make the music first, and I mean if you have a bunch of people working on it, it wouldn't take that long. But it's
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Like right now, is what you're saying a part of it? Probably. But also they're probably working on a lot of like the musical stuff right now. Even if he's busy with other stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely an extra component that like other shows or adaptations don't. I mean, I guess non-music adaptations don't have to deal with. So yeah, for sure. That's
Because even if you
um,
look at like season 1, there were what 7 or 8 original songs in that,
there
something
were a
like
lot
that. Not even counting the ones that released that weren't in the anime.
just in the album.
Yeah. So it's
yeah,
like that's a lot of music to make. And season 2 might not have the same amount. Maybe it will, maybe it'll have more. Who's to say? But it's definitely a component that's going to slow down the process a lot. And then obviously, like you said, they probably want at least like the core staff back, especially because it did so well.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean at this point the director has to be like pretty sought after. Because I think like Freeran targeted him specifically or something like that. I think I remember. I don't remember
Mhm.
who said it, but they had taken a look at him. It's like, yeah, that's the guy. But he was like working on Bochi the Rock or some shit at the time, which obviously
Yeah,
ended up being a
he
big
even
success.
before this was already somewhat sought after, and then they were also like, "Yep, there it is."
Yes, and he's continuing to do a good job. Free Run was a banger today.
I'm behind on it. Shocker, I know.
Unfortunate.
TK behind on an anime.
Some
I'll
group
So
catch up. I
watches.
really haven't. I haven't been like watching anything. Not even just anime, just like in general.
So I have a question about like because we're talking about manga, and like I'd heard about these things, but like don't go into like I haven't gone into too much detail like trying to learn much about them. But like for example, like Shonen Jump, right? Like that weekly thing that contains basically, if I'm understanding correctly, this is like a longer question that I have, but like that contains basically a bunch of different chapters of manga in like one magazine volume thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The reason I'm asking is like it's like a really stupid question, but something I've been like thinking about for a while. It's like how manga is like marketed in Japan, I guess. Like
I mean,
anime is very easy to
yeah.
think about, like YouTube and like TV and like commercials. Maybe I don't know, but like manga is like a weird thing because it's like um, depending on how pervasive it is in like other forms of media, but like for manga, it's like interesting. I'm just not sure like how well it's marketed or how
Well,
it's marketed.
I mean, like anime,
Mhm.
even like manga and even light novels actually get. You know how like the animes will release like promotional videos, PVs.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, they'll do the same with manga and light novels.
that makes sense.
Um, like I think for Medalist, we just recently got a confirmation on some voice actors, but everyone had like pinned down who like Inari was gonna be because they had someone doing her voice for like the promotional stuff. And so they're
Gotcha.
like, oh, well, they're probably just going to get her. The same thing happened kind of with uh, Kubo because they had Kana Hanazawa do like some goofy ASMR thing. Everyone's like, yeah, we're probably going to get her for the voice of Kubo, and we did. So there's definitely like advertising stuff for it. And I
Well, I
mean,
think it's yeah.
in Japan, I mean, it's completely different in general. Like, you can get VTubers on wine bottles and shit, but like,
Sure.
obviously here it would be different.
Oh, I saw like something recently with like one of the voice actors doing like a promotional like ASMR thing. I don't think it was Hanazawa. It was someone else like I think in the past couple weeks. I can't remember who it was, but yeah. Yeah, that kind of stuff, yeah, definitely exists. So that makes sense.
I
It's just
saw something similar. It was fucking Prisma Ilia ASMR ear cleaning. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
that might have been it. I don't know. But yeah, there were a couple things I saw on YouTube and like um I think one of the voice actors like playing some game or something to promote one of the games. That's another thing I saw recently. So that makes sense. It's just interesting, something like Shonen Jump. It's like with all the different manga chapters in one weekly thing. That's like cool. I think that's like awesome. But yeah, I was just curious about that. Because I think like yeah, just in the West, just because it's like an imported product, it's like you're not gonna get that, which is kind of a shame because I feel like um Bocce the Rock, I feel
Yeah.
like a
Well,
lot of people would be excited to read Bocce the Rock, I think. I mean, just so slow
I
that
mean, yeah, but like, Bocchi the Rocks magazine is also not like a particularly popular one either.
yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
So it's like you're right, but like using Shonen Jump as an example
Oh, no, no, no,
is weird
yeah,
because that's like,
the most
uh,
popular, right?
yeah, like people go out of their way
Yeah, yeah, for
to
sure.
read Shonen Jump every week, and they might not even necessarily be fans of every series in it. That's just what they do.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that
Kind
makes
of
sense.
similar to how like a lot of TV channels are marketed in the U.S., where it's like, do you remember? I was just having a conversation about this the other day. Funny enough, but for kids TV and how
Maybe.
that would be. That would just be like there would be the shows that you watch because you wanted to watch them because they'd have zany shit like all the new Yu-Gi-Ohs and Jackie Chan Adventures
Yes.
and all that type of shit. But like you would just watch for kids TV for a few
Yes.
hours, and there were
Yes.
some shows on there that you didn't come for, didn't know anything about prior.
Yes.
They would
Yeah,
just show
actually,
up.
yeah, yeah. There was no, yeah, I was like I was thinking about this. There's like Kirby, the Kirby show. You remember that one?
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's
And then there was there was like I don't think it was Gundam. It was like some sort of like transform. It was some like mech thing that was also there that I remember watching. No, yeah, I mean it makes sense. Themed shows, like if someone reads Shonen Jump and they're only interested in like One Piece, they might
Yeah,
read other
but
things.
then
Yeah,
so
it's a good strategy.
yeah, well, it's so to me the problem is if I am a translation company, right? Is there much value in me translating all of Shonen Jump for people
No,
versus, versus just picking up the series like the Naruto or,
yeah,
that people want.
yeah,
And so like Bochi is an interesting example because like Bochi is something that nobody really knew that they wanted
but now they
before
do.
it came out. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like it wasn't a sought after series or anything. It was just
it's a shame that it'll be like a 4 month interval thing, but yeah, it is what
I
it
mean,
is,
that's
I
just
guess.
yen press moment.
Yeah,
Like, Medalist is gonna get its English like print. Like, it has the digital ones, but it's gonna get like print versions in starting March. But Kodansha's doing like a 2 month cycle instead, which is much more bearable.
yeah.
Like in the
I
set,
honestly don't even think 4 month cycles are that bad.
it's pretty bad. I'm gonna be honest. Like, um, I mean, depending on like it's just too slow a pace. Because for example, the Polish version of ReZero is basically caught up, I think. The fucking Polish version of all things.
Face?
And we have Yen Press, which is tied to Katakawa, the publisher of ReZero. Yet we are like just at the very end of arc 6. I think I just got the last arc 6 novel on it. Or maybe there's one more afterward. Hold on. Might be one more. But it's just kind of goofy that okay, me when I search for volume 26 and okay, yeah, no. This is the last volume of arc 6 that I just got. So the web novel slash light novel is on arc 8. So it's just so far behind. And it's translated like dog shit too. They take 4 months, usually delay it another month, and it's still bad. We've changed translators over. It's just so like you should never see like ReZero Twitter gearing up to like go ass blast the Yen Press announcement for volume
That's blast is
25.
crazy.
Yeah, they're like, man, we're gonna fucking go apeshit in the replies on this, and I mean, it's like, and I feel bad for like the social media intern. He didn't do nothing, but
Yeah, community
uh,
Yeah,
manager or
he's
whoever.
happy to
They
see
always
all of
got
it.
they always got
I mean, they got to take the L for
yeah.
Yen Press just not putting someone like quality on these series. And you don't have to try too hard. You could like literally just go to like you can like cross reference the web novels translations and it'd probably be close enough for the most part. I don't know.
I mean, yeah,
It's just disconnected company moment.
maybe the difference for me here is I think of like the turnaround of written books is so long.
Well, you might see like a
And I know
year.
it's obviously a different like thing, but it's also like I don't know. To me, the time span of 4 months to continue whatever story I'm reading in and of itself isn't that
I
bad.
mean, I get that
Problem
because
is
like
that the translations are not good.
with
That's an actual issue.
with
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
normal book, maybe yeah, you'll see like maybe a book a year, maybe depending on who the author is. Maybe they're a crackhead and doing more. But like generally, like maybe once a year, you'll get a new book from the series. But the difference there is like they're building that from scratch. When it comes to understand, like you have to translate it, but you're still everything's there for you. You have the Krabby Patty formula. You just gotta translate it, and so to do something that's not easy by any means. Don't get me wrong. Um, but to do something that a lot of people do for free and better in the community
Hmm.
and take like 4 to 5, like I don't know, dude, just all the delays and stuff that happen. It shouldn't take, it shouldn't be that hard to create like a decent product. It's just
I would
Yeah,
agree
I'm
that
not sure
quality is
the
like a
delays and
big
stuff.
issue
quality's
Yeah.
been the big,
because
like if they took time and like, but it was like a perfect whatever, then like, okay, at least you're like taking the time to make this as good as possible. But then when they delay it and it still releases like dog shit, then I don't know.
I
Because
agree.
like
Because if
volume
they
17 was that was the big stinker that got the other translator replaced, and that was
yeah
delayed a month. And so when you delay something a month, then like I mean, it's not only the translator's fault. Like the editor needs to realize, like, oh, this dipshit just like attributed an entire page of dialogue to the wrong character. But I don't know. It's like, come on, man.
Come on, man. Yeah, I think thankfully I haven't consumed too much material that was like poorly
Yeah,
translated. But
the
yeah,
real
it's
strategy is to learn French because they get everything.
They
oh,
do.
do they?
They literally just get everything. It's insane.
The French people love One Piece. I'll tell you that much.
French
Every
people do love One Piece.
dude, every French person I've met on Discord has like a One Piece profile picture. No cap. Like actually, I don't know why, but they love that shit.
I think the French might love One Piece more than
The
Japan,
Japanese.
which is crazy to say.
It's like
But I don't
Mexico
know.
liking
French,
Dragon Ball more.
Yeah,
yes,
facts.
French like rally behind One Piece so much, kind of randomly, but it's like not a bad series by any means to be like your country's favorite. It's just funny how like into One Piece the French are.
I want like a country to just have like some extremely unhinged favorite.
I was gonna say,
Where's
like, are there
where,
any countries that like have like some weird like obsession with some like anime other than like Mexican Dragon
which
Ball?
country is the Kazakhstan fans?
Wait, who
Like,
is?
I said which
Oh, which
country?
one? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, just like imagine like Latvia or some shit, just getting really hyped over 100 Girlfriends
Oh, I
anime
have a
being
Latvian friend who
released.
watches anime. I gotta ask him.
What's the country's official anime? Official favorite anime? It's like their official language or some shit. I don't.
That thought just made me because there's like all of those like you know how every state has like the state bird, the state
Yeah,
Yes.
food, all of that type of stuff. I wonder if one day there will be like more quirky things like that that just because of like the evolution of society, they just like have new things attributed to each state in that like regard. You know?
What's America? What's America?
what's
That's
like
the easiest
America's
one.
favorite anime?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't fucking know. Like
I
America's
feel
too big. You
like
would have to divide it by state.
Yeah.
I feel like if you went all through America, I feel like it has to be like Naruto or
It's
Dragon Ball. If we're not
probably
counting like
Naruto.
the Pokemons and the Yu-Gi-Ohs,
Wait.
but
Yeah.
they've just been because those two things are like some of the biggest gateways for like almost everyone in American culture because of them being all over Cartoon Network with via Toonami and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, so one way to potentially look at it, you know how like whenever a team like loses a Super Bowl, but they already have like their merch made just so they can have it on that night, and they like ship it
Yes.
off to like a third world country. What if they
Yes.
get all of like the unwanted manga and stuff, and so there's some just like South
Oh.
American country that's
Bro.
really big on some dog shit series. It's all they have. Like that, there is I don't know, maybe like Paraguay or some shit is just really big on like I don't know, High School DxD or some shit. That's all they get.
Okay, I got my answer. There's a well, I don't have my answer. I asked my Latvian friend about it, and no response. He does not speak to Latvian anime nerds, so it's
I
There's
mean,
over.
a maybe
they,
Pokemon in there, I guess. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
close enough.
I don't know.
He used to be so confused, like,
Pokemon's
what the
just
fuck?
such like
Yeah,
yeah,
he's like, why is he asking me this?
Pokemon's just like such a weird one because like to me, if I think about American audiences, right, like Pokemon's a big part of a lot of like American children's childhoods, both the games and the anime. But at the same time, I don't know any people that would like champion Pokemon as their favorite anime.
Yeah, it's also
Even
not
that being
considered like
said,
an anime. You know what I mean? You know, it's
yeah,
like
Yeah, like, to kids, like,
yeah,
they don't know what the fucking anime is. Like,
yeah.
there's, like,
Um,
a new good cartoon.
yeah, I am curious. There's got to be something. I'm sure if I look hard enough, there's gonna be some like random country that's obsessed with like freaking I don't know Tokyo Revenge or something. Oh, it's gonna
Like,
be gotta
some,
figure
I
like,
out.
mean, there's
Pacific Island
definitely
country. It's
yeah,
really into
there's definitely like some country that's Tokyo Revengers fans because Tokyo Revengers is like crazy popular also.
it was.
Yeah, feels like it's kind of died off.
I mean, the manga ended, but like
Oh,
I
I
think
found something.
it was losing a lot of
Give me 1
steam
second.
even then. I feel
It
like
was.
This is like
It
nothing.
just went an arc too long, as do many series.
Yeah, I found
everyone
this
wants
map,
the
but it's kind of...
everyone wants the banger ending, but then they make a dog shit ending, and it just hurts.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, but this is like
I know. That's
most.
what I mean, right? It's like
This is
I
like the
do
most
like-
search of those four specific, I
I know.
guess.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that Europe is like all Pokemon, that some Naruto in there, and then there's France with One Piece. That's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? Like, what is the one random red country? That could be
Where?
Latvia. I can't tell. Over to the right in Europe, Eastern Europe.
Oh, there's a couple. There's 2 of them. It's like
Well, actually, there's like a shit ton of countries
is
down
that-
there, like Greece upward. They all have
No,
they all have like
Estonia, Lithuania.
that honestly might be like Latvia or Lithuania or some shit. I can't.
Lithuania is the one that's more northern.
Let me just open.
Because I
up
thought
the
they were alphabetical order, but I might also be capping.
European countries. Hold on. I find it funny that like all the countries that have been conquered by fucking Russia are all the same favorite
Apparently
anime.
in Russia, Great Teacher Onizuka is like very popular. It's like the most popular anime there.
Dude, holy shit, it is Latvia.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Fire! Let's go Latvia.
Just fucking sticking out like a sore
Hold up.
thumb.
I just found this.
I mean, I'm not clicking on that
Yes.
shit.
I said,
Keijo?
"Dude,
go.
What is Keijo just really big in
Keijo?
Portugal? Like,
Let's go.
Yeah, I think Latin America is Dragon Ball. That's all I know. Apparently, Beyblade's popular in India.
it's kind of random.
That color is definitely Naruto, by the way, on this map.
Which one?
Just to let you know, the map that you posted, you said it's
Mhm.
Dragon Ball, but that's definitely Naruto. Dragon Ball is the orange. Naruto's
Yeah.
the red.
Yeah. What did I say?
You said Dragon Ball. It's
No, I said Beyblade.
What? Okay, we're moving on.
Wait,
Fuck
what did I
this.
say? Wait, what did I say in Dragon Ball?
We're not
Forget
doing
it.
this. We're not
Dude,
doing
I have
this.
no idea. Anyway,
I wasn't paying attention to now. You're confused, which makes me confused.
I'm so confused. I don't know. I probably said something wrong. Anyway, yeah.
You never said the words Beyblade. That's the worst part of this.
He did say the words Beyblade. You're a
I
liar.
did.
Now.
I did. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
He just said like
I'm bad at reading
he
maps,
said
I guess,
India's favorite anime was like Beyblade or some
Beyblade,
shit.
yeah. I was just.
It's not on the map, but he's just reading.
Yeah, I know.
Shit.
This map is stupid, bro. This map, it doesn't have all the niche anime. I don't know. Yeah, like I mentioned, like Great Teacher Onizuka is like the most popular anime in Russia, and it just has Naruto here. So I don't know.
Is it the most popular, or is it just popular?
Yes, apparently, yeah. There's like a survey done recently.
Okay, survey. I'll take survey. That sounds.
Yeah.
It's
credible,
according
bro.
to this guy.
Yeah, I know a guy.
Searched it up on Google. Yeah.
Yeah.
Russian dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still feel like putting Pokemon on this list is kind of Mickey.
I know.
Well, it's
only
extremely Mickey Mouse because then we have to like share our opinions with like 3-year-olds who like Google Pokemon or some shit.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a Russian equivalent of my anime list. What the heck is this?
I mean, that's fire.
It's
Yeah, that is
Putin's like curated Mel.
That's crazy.
Hey, you know what? They got quite an after story at number 5. I'll accept it.
Yeah,
Based
there's some interesting ones that are
based Putin.
Could you imagine if like like you know how on any list in Mao you find like the most unhinged pages? Could you imagine if those were like popular celebrities? Just like you would never know because they have random username.
Oh, you mean like Ryan Gosling or
Like
something? Like he has one of
yeah,
those. Yeah,
exactly. Like you're looking at this page and you're like, man, this person's psychotic. What is wrong with them? And then it's like Ryan Reynolds or something.
How up to date is this Russian? Oh, this is 7 years ago. Holy shit. Okay, this is not updated at all. I wonder if they keep it updated though. I can't read this.
It's 7 years ago.
I gotta Google Translate this page.
Oh my gosh, that is interesting. I wonder what the rankings are in like other countries, like I don't know, China or something. supposedly, what did I see in China that was really popular? Like, let me see. Saint Seiya and Detective Conan. Well, Detective Conan's really popular in Japan too, as well, right? Like
Yes,
huge there, I think.
Oh, let's
but
go.
I think that's another one of those ones that's just like every week you get to watch some Conan.
Yeah.
It's honestly like relatively the same as like the what's it called, the top 100 here.
Yeah, it's just
And
shuffled
there are
around a
some
little bit.
updated ones though, like Made in Abyss is pretty high on here.
Mhm.
One Punch Man. I wonder where Demon Slayer is on here. I don't see it, which is good. I don't think Demon Slayer's in their
It's
top
true.
100.
It's
So you know
true.
what? Russia's got it going on. They know what they're doing.
Russia has it figured out.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah, apparently
based.
Saint Seiya is really popular in Latin American countries too. I feel like I've heard that, but yeah.
Saint Seiya is just popular in general.
Yeah.
It's just a matter
I
of
think
like
they
people who know it. Yeah,
they still show it on TV there apparently, so that's kind of impressive, I guess. So,
yeah.
um,
That's just like one of those things. Like not a lot of like the American audience, for
yeah,
example,
it just
even knows what
didn't
Saint
seem
Seiya
like,
is.
yeah.
I mean, I
'Cause it
haven't
was like
watched it.
popular in the 90s, I think, 90s or 80s or something like that. Like it's a
Something
really
like that.
old,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Um,
like the precursor to a lot of things too.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'd never seen it. I don't remember it being on TV when I was a kid, so it was like, yeah.
Okay, it seems like Fairy Tail is rated higher than I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. Maybe they don't know what they're doing.
Fairy
That
Tail's
was it. That was the
gas.
straw that broke the camel's back.
Fairy Tale
That
is
was it.
gas.
Don't look at the 101 to 200. They don't know what they're doing there. Soft 100 is pretty base though.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I will defend Fairy Tale.
I won't.
Now, will I defend it versus Pancreas? I don't know. I've never seen Pancreas, so
I've seen
can't
both. Therefore, I'm
that.
the authority, and I have.
Did you
There's no one
finish
who can
Fairy
challenge. Yeah,
Tale? Nice.
not the anime. Like, I feel like that the anime is like the one exception I've made to like always continuing sequels because I already read the manga because it went on its
Got it.
hiatus. Yeah, and so I'm
I
like,
think that's
I'm
a
not
fair
I'm
compromise.
not watching final season when I've already watched hundreds of episodes. Like I get the gist. And I really don't like the ending either, and so I'm not gonna watch that shit.
Penguin and I were just talking yesterday about some of the unhinged powers that he writes in some of his stories. Because Penguin was talking to me about Eden Zero, which apparently had a recent like really unhinged character added to it. Classic.
Classic.
And then he was like, "This might be the most egregious shit I've seen him write before," and I was like, do I need to remind you that in the final arc of Fairy Tale, there was a person whose power was just to make you submit through orgasms?
What?
We don't.
This guy,
It's
dude.
it's so it should be more complicated than that sentence I said. It's not. um, that was a fun one. I don't want to spoil too much of Fairy Tale
I
because
don't
I
think
know at least
anyone
one person.
is
I
anyone
know
gonna.
at least one person who's
Okay.
gonna watch, who's gonna
Is
read
it
Fairy
Mars?
Tale. Yeah. To be fair, I don't feel bad about spoiling that, but I don't want to spoil anything actually
He's
important.
actually once he hears that, he's actually gonna finish reading it as soon as he gets home from work that day.
He's gonna be like, "I'm
He's
into this
he's like,
shit."
all right, let's go. You actually just typed him up to read it. Yeah. Speaking of, I have I'm gonna bring this up here just so because I don't have to bring it up later if I do. He'll come to me after he hears it. So a few, I don't know, not a few days ago. I don't know, like maybe like a week ago. I don't remember when I did it. So I've been going through something on my pause list, and it's
Okay,
July and April. Um,
interesting.
so I haven't finished it yet. I'm like a couple episodes off. However, I had some preliminary thoughts on it um, as I approached the end, um, in which I received a few pings and damn weebs, and not very happy with my preliminary thoughts.
Your
Uh, uh,
preliminary thoughts. I have not seen these thoughts yet. I'm kind of curious now.
of which I received 3 personal attacks, and then my goat Lugia, he was tried to understand where I was coming from. Thanks to you, but so I can probably tell you what to search. Just search. You can probably literally search Your Lie in April from me, and you'll find it.
Let me see.
But I had
Find
made
that.
my opinions known on like a certain aspect of it, and I think I worded it poorly, and they got mad at like certain other things. But Mars said something to me about it, and so I'm like, okay, what if he's coming at me this hard? It's like a 10 out of 10 for him. I go and look on AniList, and maybe he just hasn't added it to his list. This asshole has not watched or read this shit, and he came at me the hardest over me not being like that, like enamored with Your Lie in April.
I don't know if he has read or watched it. We've never really talked about it, but it
doesn't.
feels like one of those things.
Maybe he just doesn't have it on his list, and that's why I don't want to be like this. He came after me and just has never seen it. But if it'd be a very him thing to do.
I love the first message. Just cry about it.
Yeah, that of course that was how everything started. I'm like, okay, let's see.
I get it. What? Okay. Why is he talking about TikTok? I get what you're saying.
He's talking about TikTok because he's trying to call my attention span short, even though that's the complete opposite of like how he knows I don't view things like that.
Yeah, I don't particularly like. It's been a long time since I watched it.
I feel like if I had watched
the opinion feels fair.
Yeah,
I just don't know if
I could probably
agree.
explain it better. Like I said, I think I worded it poorly, and let me go see what the actual wording was that I put.
I mean, you basically said it could have been shorter if they didn't write characters.
No. I said
I know that's not what you said, but
that is a scathing interpolation of what I said. I said I've been going through Your Lie in April to knock stuff off the pause list, and I feel like this anime could shave 6 episodes if they didn't try to hold my hand so much with the character writing and themes. What I'm saying here, I definitely could have worded this better. So, Your Lie in April has this problem where it will not stop flashing back, no matter what is happening. And it is, whether it is something that happened 10 episodes ago or 5 minutes ago, every time there is a character monologue, which is most of the episodes, it will flash back to things multiple times. And it's egregious about it. So, my main issue, and it's just probably better in the manga, but the anime's direction is god-awful, dog shit, horrendous even, in these moments. In which, here's the thing, right? I want to like the show a lot. I really do. There are things that it does that are like 10 out of 10. But then there are times it does stuff and I'm like, oh my god, I get it. I get the point. You have hammered this into my head for the past however many episodes, and you keep going harder and harder with it. It just feels like it runs in circles a lot, which is my biggest problem with it.
That makes sense.
I feel like the problem I had with it, which might be a similar derivative to you, because I didn't have a lot of problems with like specific like way things were written, but for me it almost felt like, because if you think of like the 3 act structure of a story, right? I feel like Your Lie in April gets to its emotional climax too fast, given how long the show is. That's kind of my feeling of it. And it, like, there's still other character arcs to enjoy after that. But I feel like the big thing that is like the emotional like payoff of everything that's built is like too soon.
I feel like one of the awkward things is so there are basically like 3 acts to this anime. There's like the first half of it, then there's like the little midsection, and then there's like the end of it. And I feel like the part that was not filler, but probably the one I was supposed to care about the least, is the one that I end up liking the most, because it didn't have like as many, at least it wasn't as glaring as like the other arcs.
Yeah.
Where it was going through these characters and stuff, and it was doing it in a way it's not flashing back like 20 times. If it does flash back, and maybe it's like new stuff that we haven't seen before, that's the biggest problem. Because if I have to see the same fucking flashback, the same dialogue, like that was my biggest problem with like the first 10, 11 episodes was it's a lot of the same shit. Um, where with the dialogue and monologues and stuff, and it gets unbearable to a point. Like it's just I don't know if the manga has this issue, and if it does, it's probably to like less of an extent. Because what the anime does visual, like anime is a much more visual medium. Obviously, this is a music series, and so I get why the manga would like put things more into words. But the anime is like explaining its visuals like word by word. I feel very handheld throughout the thing, which is what I said in there,
Mm.
which I should have explained more thoroughly because other people also seem to take it like I'm like, oh my god, these characters are taking too much time to develop them. No, that's not the thing. I understand these characters have a lot that they need to develop, especially the main character. Um, but it just doesn't feel, it doesn't flow right for me with how they directed it. Is
Yeah.
the biggest issue.
I would agree with that. And like I said, there's a possibility that both of our like general feelings are just kind of like different interpretations of this same issue.
Yes. I would say maybe even an even bigger issue is that I think the comedy is dog shit and takes away from the show like a lot, like a lot, a lot. Like
I kind of agree with that.
it's one, it never changes. It's always the same comedy. They're always, dude. So I guess mini spoiler for Your Lie in April. You get this like literally like episode 2 or 3. Um, but I just find it so annoying that the main source of like quote unquote comedy in the show is to physically and verbally abuse the physical and verbal abuse victim the entire show. And
Mhm.
it's like, come on, dude. You don't have to beat the fuck out of him every time. Anytime it's maybe something serious, they just fucking kick him. And that's how like they end the serious thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you're in April. This is the 11th time you've beaten the shit out of Kosei this episode. You don't have to keep doing this. It's not funny. It never has been funny. It never will be funny. It's just, I don't know. The things that it does really well, I really like, but it's like such high ceiling, such a low floor that it just kind of settles somewhere in the middle for me to where I'm just not like. Something could change in these last 2 episodes that makes me like bump it up a little higher, but right now it feels like a 5, 6 out of 10 with like 10 out of 10 moments that I just wasn't able to like soak in as much because of all the things that I disliked about it.
I would say that's a fair interpretation. I mean, for me, it's like something I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
So I didn't get as much. Like, I think for me, those 10 out of 10 moments probably mattered more to me than the kind of like awkward moments. But like, I, hear and see the things you're talking about, and I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like, I can't argue that and be like, no, you're, on crack, because I think they're fair things to have interpreted and also just like not have
yeah.
enjoyed.
I feel like if I watched this like when it came out in 2017 or whatever the fuck it was, like 5, 6 years ago, I would have thought it was peak fiction, and I would have been here in 2023 being like, I love this show, this is the goat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, and maybe there that I would think that way with some shows that I do like now.
Yeah, I think the same
Uh,
way actually.
it's just one of those things where like, you know, it's just a point in time where I didn't watch it then, and now I watch it now with the mindset I have now, and I'm not like enjoying it towards the end
Do you
here.
think your mindset prevents you from enjoying certain shows that you might have otherwise if you didn't have that mindset? I mean, obviously, but like,
Well,
it's
I
like,
do think
it
there's something to be
depends.
said. Yeah, I do think there's something to be said for watching something at specific moments in time versus others. Like, I definitely think there are things I watched early into watching anime that I enjoyed more than I would if I started them today.
I probably wouldn't have been like if I was younger. I don't think I'd have been as annoyed with the comedy. But now that I'm older and I don't find like that, like I think slapstick can be funny, but like, oh my god, it's just literally that every episode, every character feels like they have the same personality in some capacity, like except for the main character. But like, I don't know, every character just resorts to just beating the shit out of the main character as like a comedy
yeah,
bit, and I'm like, okay,
yeah, I
well,
don't like that either. Yeah.
I'm like, this character does it, this character does it, this character does it. And I'm like, everyone in the show is like a tsundere. I just don't understand, like, why. I don't know. It's like literally the worst character to do that to as well, because I feel like he should be much more against it than he is based on his past. But I don't. It's just I don't know. And I could be like nitpicky even more if I really wanted to. Like every character in the show is a philosopher when the show needs them to be, but It's just anime in general sometimes, where like the 5-year-old just like knows the secrets to life or some shit. Uh,
Drops a truth bomb.
it just I want to like there's still a couple episodes left. And I have my opinion on what's happening at the end as well, and I'm not like too big of a fan of how it's playing out. But it just I don't know. I have to finish it first before I can give my full opinion. But it's not looking too good. This is probably my hottest anime take yet. Is that I'm not big on Your Lie in April, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was a good rant.
Did that feel good to get that off the chest?
Yes, 'cause I've been like thinking about it ever since
Yeah.
ever since I'm like Mars
That's
hasn't
that
watched
comment.
or read this. What the fuck? I have to defend myself now.
I feel like he probably has read
It
it,
feels
but I
like
don't
I don't
know
feel like he would have gone at me as hard as he did if he hadn't, but it's
if he
also just
hadn't.
not on
Yeah,
his list, and so I'm like I don't know. I'll just bring this up and then I'll get my answer eventually. Um, but yeah. Anyway, moving on from scathing reviews of shows that
No,
a lot of people like.
I actually do. I am curious, like if I watched anime in a different order, whether my perception of certain anime I've seen like have changed.
I
Uh,
definitely think that there are certain anime that if I
yeah,
watched them,
I feel like I would have hated it in Beats if I saw it like now.
There's
I
some
feel like
shows I've actually gone back and watched just to be like, does this hold up with like how I watch things in like today's? Like I went through all of Clan Ed again. I still loved it, probably more than I did even before. Same thing with World End. I've mentioned that before.
Mhm.
Um, I would have to. I think one thing I didn't like downgrade it as much, but I feel like I after rewatching Anohana, I was less in like I used to have it at like 9.5, but I think it's like down to 8 now, maybe.
Ooh, it's
see,
fighting retro
Anohana,
DK.
Anohana is something that I've like had that thought about because I love Anohana. It's like top 3 favorite things of all time. But I watched Anohana a long time ago, and I've never rewatched it. And I don't think it would affect my opinion too much, but I definitely wonder if I would have rated it lower if it was something I watched like today after I've watched a bunch of stuff versus when I watched it like fairly early on.
Yeah, I still have like a solid opinion of it. I just it's
You've
just
seen
not
more
like
things and
it's no
maybe
longer
just
peak fiction or
yeah.
anything like that. Which I don't think I have anything anymore that like is rated very highly for me that like I would rewatch and be like, oh, maybe I didn't like this. But like, yeah, okay, I have an 8.5. It's not as big of a drop. It's like well, it might have been it used to be a 10, I think, like a
Maybe the next
1.5
time you watch it, it'll
drop.
go down to a 6 and then a 4,
Yeah,
and it's
6.
officially
Yeah,
the worst
so
anime you've
6 would
seen.
be a hell of a drop. Um,
6 would be a crazy drop. That would be a like you're a different person type of
yeah,
drop.
I feel like the lowest it could go would be like a 7.5 at worst if I like really like tried to nitpick things about it. But I'm not gonna rewatch Anohana ever again, probably. So
I might at some point, but it's just one of those ones that I'm like, I don't know if I
it's
want
like
to
it's
rewatch
like
it because
you
I
don't want to
also
ruin it. You to ruin the memories.
well, yeah, there's I don't want to ruin it. There's also like I am a firm believer that there are certain stories that just
It just
don't
wouldn't
hold
hit the
up in
same.
rewatches. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think like emotional stories in particular like that are like Your Lie in April is another example, right? I don't think I could rewatch Your Lie in April and think it's nearly as good as I thought it was before because I've already experienced everything it had to give once.
Yeah.
And there are parts of that that aren't true. Like there are still things to gain from rewatching stuff like that. But I am a firm believer that there are certain stories that just are better off left at a one-time experience.
Do you think there are any shows that got better after a rewatch?
I think
Um.
like longer shows are fantastic after rewatches. Like One Piece is the crackhead answer, obviously,
Okay,
because most
dude.
people don't even watch One Piece once, let alone rewatch.
Sure,
But I
sure.
think there are a lot of shows, especially like adventure type shows and shonens and stuff like that, that try to like lay the seeds of later things coming up early into the show, and you might not notice them on the first watch.
Yeah. I think one
I think
thing
this is also a
is
thing with Odd Taxi. I think I've
I
heard
don't know
Odd
if I'd
Taxi
rewatch
is
Odd
like
Taxi.
yeah, But I think I've heard Odd Taxi is one of those that like there is stuff to gain when you rewatch it that you may have not noticed the first time once you know the conclusion.
Yeah. Like, I think the one thing I can think of that I definitely enjoyed more after a rewatch was actually I used to be very like middle of the road with ReZero. Like I liked it, but I didn't think like, oh my god, peak fiction. But eventually my mindset on like how I view shows changed, and I was going through. Uh, I've talked about it before. I have a friend. We don't do it that much anymore, but I would like show him anime because he had like very like basic bitch taste. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna show you some gas. And at one point, I'm like, you know what? He probably liked this show. But then, like through the rewatch, I'm like, man, I really like this show. Hold on. Um, and it evolved from there. And now it's my favorite series ever in media. So
I wonder similarly if now that I've gotten more of a ReZero foundation, if I would enjoy season one better.
Hmm.
I think there are certain things you'll be able to appreciate more knowing where it goes in like season two.
Yeah.
Like especially Super as a character. 'Cause that's like a lot of people's big turn off is like, can you handle like however many episodes of like early Subaru? Uh, but I feel like um season two gives so much context to his character that it makes it better to go through season one.
Yeah, I think there's like appreciation in terms of rewatching something, looking back, but I think there's also like foreshadowing that you don't see. I mean, not specifically with ReZero, but with like any show, right? Where it's like
Hmm.
the second time you watch it because you know the ending or like you know certain parts of the story. There's like foreshadowing you can recognize, and that's cool. Um,
You know, like, a lot of
so
stuff
yeah.
with Attack on Titan does that. Like, if you've watched like through like season three, part two, there's a lot of shit you can just go back and watch like season one and two, and you're like, oh my god,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
that's insane. But it's definitely yeah, there's I think it's definitely harder to like go back rewatch something and gain an appreciation versus like maybe think less of it. And I think a lot of it does have to do with like the first time experience matters for a lot of things. Um,
Yeah.
like
I
as
think the main. Yeah.
like Clannad holds up for me, like even after rewatches, but it still like obviously doesn't replicate like the experience I had the first time. So it's like a high that you'll never be able to rechase. That you just kind of like have to accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the main thing for me is if rewatching gives me something that I may not have noticed before because I now know the outcome. So like we don't watch like a lot of mystery series or anything like that. But I could see something like that having like great rewatchability because it's you go through the whole series and let's say the series is about like finding a murderer, right?
Yeah.
And you spend the whole first watch not knowing who the murderer is and just seeing like random hints and things that you might not even take as hints, and then you finish the series. Now you know who the murderer is, how it all happened, and you go rewatch, and then you notice things that that person did suddenly, and you're like, "Oh, I should have known." And it's like that effect to me is the type of things that I enjoy in rewatches. Is just that kind of like, how did I not see this before? Emotion.
Yeah, I had something. So this is new, but I kind of have like one of those aha moments. And it wasn't that I rewatched anything, but like I saw like a random picture of it, and I'm like, oh, I totally missed that detail. But the Apothecary Diaries started not like about a week ago,
I was gonna
and
watch that, but I was finishing season three, part one of Attack on Titan, which I finished earlier. But I was gonna watch that. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so I watched the first three episodes of that. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a moment where one of the characters kind of has like an aha, I got you moment, um, with like a detail that is there visually, but I didn't notice it like at all. And so he brought it up. I'm like, oh, that's like kind of random because I didn't see what he was referencing. But then I saw it early, like later on, in like a Twitter screenshot of someone just like talking about the show, and I'm like, oh, well, I totally missed that. I'm stupid. Um, so it went from something that kind of felt like an out of pocket like explanation that like made sense, but I just didn't realize that they had actually visually shown that at that point. But it's been a pretty decent show so far.
I went to the bookstore a couple days ago and I saw the
Fuck, this guy reads
first volume
books.
to it.
Nerd, bro. Now go ahead.
I did buy 5 volumes of Blue Box in
Okay.
celebration of the anime because that was a fun thing.
Nice.
How much
So now
manga does your bookstore carry, or whatever the one you went to?
it has a good selection, honestly. It's like an
Yeah.
entire like big part of like one big room. It's like a huge bookstore, so that's part of it. But I don't know. I felt like probably anything I would want there is represented on the shelf. It's just a question of is it the specific volumes I want.
Yeah,
So like,
like just have like volumes 2 and 5 specifically, nothing else.
bro, Blue Lock is the funniest thing there because Blue Lock would have had volumes 2, 4, 6, and 8.
Nice.
And like multiple copies of each of those.
Someone just collected all the odd volumes.
Yeah.
That was how it was last time I was there too. But that's like how all bookstores are. I don't know what goes into how like buying volumes of stuff to sell is. I mean, I assume like first volume and the newest volume are the important ones, and then it's just like fill the shelves with some other ones.
Yeah, you would think like volume 1 would be the one they have like the most of, and just so like as many people can like start it at least. Uh,
Usually it is.
but I don't know. I guess a bunch of people bought Blue Lock Volume 1 and didn't care to go get Volume 2, so they just have an excess.
Yeah, that's another thing is if you see like volume 1 sold a lot, do you then like bump up the sales for volume 2 in case they come back?
Yeah,
I mean, probably
theoretically.
that would make sense. Um, but it's interesting. It's always fun going to bookstores like that and seeing the selection and wondering like how they have what they have. But they still won't stock Revo Volume 3
Yeah,
SMH.
that's why I just watch online. Or not watch online, fucking buy online.
Read
You
online.
watch manga online?
Yeah,
That's
we
crazy.
can watch
The
manga
only
online.
the only books I really buy are the ones that I would want to collect. I think because it's just so much easier to read stuff online.
Yeah, I think for like an aesthetic like collection sense, it makes sense. But yeah, it's like I don't know. I do like reading physical books though. I mean, it's like it's
I
kind of cool
definitely
to like
prefer it more than reading stuff
yeah.
online.
It's just sometimes like yeah, it's just because of availability or whatever.
Yeah.
I have to do online, but yeah. I always like holding the book in my hand.
Yeah, I need to. I really want to clean off this other shelf, but there's just so much just shit. That's like the best way to explain it.
I should organize my stuff too.
Yeah, like one side looks really nice and organized, the other one's just like full of like old like childhood participation trophies, movies that I'm never gonna watch. Just a bunch of junk. Like I just have like terabyte hard drives just sitting there from like my old computer that like I don't have space for in the new one. Like just sitting wasting away. It's just a whole bunch of stuff that I really don't have a space to clear them into. I need to like get boxes or something because I really don't care about any of it, but I don't want to like throw it away. But yeah.
I need a bookshelf. I'm
I have a
starting to get to
shelf,
the
but
point where I have
I
too
barely use it.
many I have too many books that are just like in storage right now
Yeah.
that would be fun to put on a shelf, but I just don't have a bookshelf.
It's just a nice aesthetic. Like I was
Yeah.
listening to Travis Kelsey, Jason Kelsey podcast. American probably know them.
New Heights,
Yeah, I was listening to their
Good ones.
podcast, and I think one of their viewers is like, they just did like, they have like a question answering segment. Um, I think someone asked like, "Hey, what's your favorite book?"
Mhm.
Because like Travis Kelsey has like a bookshelf behind him or some shit, and he's like, "You think I read any of these?" Uh, or he's like, "I don't know how to read." And so yeah, he just has them for like aesthetic. So I wonder how many people like actually do that. Like they just have books that like they'll never read ever. They just have them on a shelf to look nice.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like especially back in my parents' house, because like my room is still there intact somehow. um, I have like a bunch of books that I just like never read, but it looks nice on the shelf. I'll say that it does look nice. Um, but I don't know. I would feel weird buying books that I'd never actually read. I don't know. It would just feel too
Yeah,
weird.
he had the art of not giving a fuck on his bookshelf, and he's like, I'm actually better than anything written in this book because I don't give a fuck about reading it. So I have ascended past the art of not giving a fuck. I don't know. It's I definitely wouldn't put anything on a shelf that I'm not gonna read at some point. I
Yeah,
have
same.
a lot of my old like childhood stuff. I just have like stowed away in like a cabinet because I'm not gonna put it on the shelf. Yeah, like I mean, like maybe some things like the Percy Jackson ones would be fine to like keep on the shelf as like nostalgia, but Diary of a Wimpy Kid is no longer it no
Dude,
longer
Diary of
needs.
a Wimpy Kid went hard, bro.
What's the problem with Diary of a Wimpy
Yeah, facts,
It's
dude. You
just
hate
that
it or
it doesn't
what?
need to be on the. I'm a hater. It doesn't need to be on the shelf.
Kid?
I think Cheese Touch might be one of the worst epidemics to ever like touch school grounds.
I would agree with that. That is true.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Jeez.
That's
Oh,
the
right. I
weird
remember
thing.
this.
Most of my Percy Jackson books and everything aren't even in like storage with me. They're like stored at my childhood house and stuff like
I
that.
think mine are just
Like with
scattered
my
in
parents.
boxes or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, could I eventually find those? Probably. And I have some books that are like non-weeb. Um, but it's like I don't know. My book storage is so random.
Yeah, I think it's
It's
the same with
also
my
like
Harry Potter stuff. So
the books I have are random because I only bought like the volumes I was reading. So I have like volume 15 of Sword Art Online or something like that. Um, just like a random couple Sword Art volumes that I was reading at the time because it was like what happened directly after the anime at that point in time.
Yeah, I'm
we'll
sad
see.
the right stuff is gone. And the fucking Crunchyroll ruins everything. It was such a great website. Just everything I needed was
Wait, which
all,
website? Right stuff?
yeah, right stuff. They were like one of the top North American sellers, and Crunchyroll had bought them a while ago. But
Oh,
recently they like assimilated their website into Crunchyroll's store.
oh,
And
gotcha.
so everything good about their website is generally gone. Crunchyroll kept like their lower prices, which is nice. Which I wasn't expecting, honestly. I thought they were gonna get rid of that shit, but I think maybe they understand like that's part of Right Stuff's success model is lower than like market sale retail price. Um, it is gone still though, and their website's dog shit. Crunchyroll's is, so it's a little unfortunate, but I don't know. I'll probably still get my stuff from there. That or I mean, I have Amazon Prime, so maybe I'll just take like delivery speed over Crunchyroll's dog shit everything. But it's
Yeah, I don't. I
unfortunate.
just. Yeah, I think. I think I probably actually unironically want to like go to a. You know, you've inspired me, PK. I think I'm actually going to try going to a bookstore this weekend. Like no memes. I actually want
Bookstores
to
are
go and see
fun.
what they have.
Like looking for anything too. If you know like
Yeah,
what
I
genres
haven't
you
gone in a
like.
while. Like I go to the library occasionally to like get books, but there's like nonfiction stuff. Like I don't bother to like. I like reading nonfiction. I like learning about all that kind of nerd stuff. So that's what I usually go for. But I might try going to a bookstore and seeing what I can get in terms of like manga and stuff like that. That might be cool to buff up the collection and well actually read it. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of manga again, Love Agency is like hitting a weird point for me. The tales of Aka's new manga. Um, I really like one of the characters, and I really don't give a fuck about one of the other ones. And it's kind of like, and I guess it's technically like a quad perspective manga, but there are two perspectives that matter the most right now. And one I like a lot, and the other I really don't care for, and so it's making like a really weird disconnect that I really don't know how to feel. Um, the male main character, based, I really like him. He's very cool. Uh, the female main character is not that cool. She's like,
Why?
she's just very uninterested.
Boring.
It's
Yeah.
like she's not an interesting character. While the male main character is like such a It's like in every like this like facet of him is just like a disconnect from what you'd expect. Um, he's just very fun to follow. Like he's just a good dude, and he's like it's pretty funny when you follow him, and then it's just kind of like meh when you follow the other one. Grant, a lot of the focus has been on him though, so it's getting more enjoyable as long as as long as it's a him chapter. Yeah. Well, I'll let more chapters build up before I bring it up again, but 17 chapters in, it has potential. Maybe make the female main character not a plank of wood, and we'll be able to
I
call it
feel
a
like
banger.
I might try it soon, but
What's like the if it's spoilers it's whatever, but like in the art like they have like the puppet things on the hand puppets. Is that
Yeah,
like a part of the
so
actual?
what Love Agency is, and this is basically just chapter 1,
Mhm.
but both of these people are trying to so the main male guy is they're both taking advice from like the same agency that like helps you like pick up someone like romantically
yep.
is
Mhm.
like the best way to explain it. But they're both like they're both basically pretending people or trying to be people that they're not, because they're taking advice from these like love agency people.
Right.
um and then I'm not gonna say anything else because there is like a bit of a twist in it that I'm not gonna say, but basically chapter 1 isn't like exactly what you're getting. um
Yeah.
I give it like
Chapter one,
give it like
like
10
what they
get
make you
10
think you're
chapters or
gonna
something
get
like that, and then
Okay.
you'll understand like
in
where maybe it's
classic.
going.
Yeah, in classic
Aga
him
fashion.
fashion. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just make you think you're gonna get something and then change it up just slightly.
Yeah. But
I don't know. It's something I will read eventually. I just have not given it much thought yet. Mostly because, like, similar to you, I enjoy the binge for a lot of things once I actually get down to it. That's the hard thing, is getting me to
The
actually
binge.
sit down and do the binge.
yeah, sitting down
But
to
I
do
love how you
things is
talk about it like it's like an event. Like it's good. I
I mean,
like
it's
that.
basically an event.
I mean, yeah.
Momentous occasion whenever I sit down and actually decide to do something.
Yeah.
yes, the binge.
Yeah, the binge.
Yes. I do hate like Netflix like binge model type stuff though. Like I would have
Bro,
been interested in watching Pluto when it came out, but
every
it's
episode
not a
dropped. Yeah.
yeah, like so if so every episode's an hour and there are 8 of them. So this is like a 24 anime episode experience basically. And they dropped it all at once. So I'm like
Yeah.
I'm already watching too much shit. If this is like once a week and I'm like I would sacrifice the hour to potentially watch this. But since they dropped it all at once, I have no interest now.
I still probably will watch it, but it's definitely going to be like a multi-day thing now. And that's fine because I think I'm going to group watch it with Sir Rushington. So,
So Rushington is crazy.
It's just like the equivalent of watching 4 movies, and I just don't have the energy for that.
yeah. I mean, that's what we did with the One Piece live action too. It was just like a 2 or 3 day. We just watched as much as we
Yeah,
could
I mean it's
and then
easier with
chilled.
other people. Like we went through fucking 3 seasons of Yamano Susume in one room. Granted, Yamano Susume was more spread out. It was like a season a day, but well, not even. It was like season 1, and then we did half a season 2, half a season 2, and then season 3. But yeah, I guess we did one room all in one sitting. But that was like every episode's 30 minutes, so
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. I'm already bad at binging things these days. I mean,
I think the problem is I enjoy binging things more, but then I never actually give myself the time to binge things, and instead I'll look at it and be like, "Oh, that's gonna take like 2 hours.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm actually
want
the
to do
same
that
way.
right
Yeah.
now."
yeah, I'm like really good at just like wasting time away for no reason. Like
doing who knows what.
I'll be doing literally nothing and sitting in my chair, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna like listen to some songs for no reason, even though I really don't care to like do that right now. And then I waste like half an hour. I'm like, damn, that's tough. Um, and then like maybe I'll lay down in bed and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch this anime right now. But then I like open Discord real quick, and then I get into a conversation, and then
Discord
there's
is the
You get
worst.
distracted from your distractions. Yeah, I got
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Because I'll try and watch something. I might post like a funny screenshot too at some point, and that's when it's doomed. Just when you post the funny screenshot,
yeah,
because then people comment on it, and I'm like, oh, I want to see what they have to say about funny screenshot,
yeah.
and it's just doomed after that. Once you get to the point where the Discord conversations have started, it's over. You've lost
You
an
get
hour.
caught up in that.
It's
Yeah.
completely over. Yeah, because I don't want to like leave in the middle of a conversation. It's mean.
Yeah, bro. I gotta win my argument.
Sometimes it does be like that. I think I actually was like literally gonna go
It
watch
does
something like, and then
like
I got into
that.
the year in lie and April argument. I'm like, okay, fucking
So,
damn it.
someone posted a hot take. I gotta address it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even. I posted the hot take, and then other people started addressing it, and I had to defend my position. Um, which I don't know. I stopped that argument before it. I don't know. I don't know if I've said it on here, but I don't know. Arguing with Mars is very difficult. It's just how he does things.
I mean, of all people, I understand.
Yeah. I don't have time or energy for this battle right now.
It's funny because I'm also similar though. So when me and Mars arguments happen, there's like so much dry time in between where we're both just kind of like saying nothing, but also to us we're saying something as well. And it's kind of funny to watch, I assume,
It's that.
because at some point the argument will just stop and neither of us will be willing to like cede any room to the other one.
Yeah, we had.
But then at some point, like, but we reach that point and it's like clearly someone here is in the right or not by the time you get to that point.
Every like discussion with him, it's honestly impressive how little we agree on things. Like it's like I've never we're such polar opposites on like 99.9% of things that like whenever we do agree, you just know it has to be like the universally correct opinion. Like there's no argument. Which isn't
See,
not
but I don't
much.
like that because then you guys will be like, "Oh, we agree on this, so it must be the universally correct opinion."
Well, it is. If we agree on something, then like that's like the planets aligning basically. We agree on so little that just whatever is agreed upon. I can't count on one hand the amount of things that we've ever agreed on. Like I'm just trying to think. Like we both like Angel Next Door. Uh I think our first ever conversation and I had like a Cutley profile picture or something and he called it based. And so we agreed on that. And I think that might be about it. That might be
That
the only thing we
might
agree.
be the end.
We have two things we agree on. I mean, there might be like other things like we both like ReZero, but like, you know, uh, that's like generally liking shows is obviously a much
That's like an
more
entirely different, yeah.
yeah like liking a specific novel or something like that is much more like or much less generalized than maybe just like there are a bajillion anime out there. Of course, we're gonna like some the same, or at least generally close.
I've found some interesting information.
What would that be? Did you ask him
I'll tell
if he
you.
watched
I'll
Your
tell
Lie in
you.
April or not?
I may have asked.
He didn't watch it, did he?
Um, yeah, he said he knows the entire plot has been spoiled for him.
I hate him so. Morris, I fucking hate you. He went so hard on like trying to argue about this with me, and he has not watched it, and that infuriates me.
I just think that's hilarious.
I think that's fucking stupid. I'm so mad right now.
um, so there's your the answer to that previous conversation.
This asshole would argue with me harder than anyone else who like opposed my opinion and without watching the anime. You know what the worst thing is too? He whipped out the go read the manga instead argument despite not
Okay,
having
dude.
read the manga either. Which
It's
the
okay.
manga probably does solve some of my issues, but
I had fun spoiling for him the fact that we were gonna have the 86 conversation where Spat said that his favorite was fucking Corinna,
Corinna.
and he was
Oh my
not
god, dude.
happy about
My
that.
favorite is Fido, whatever. That's my guy.
Yeah, it's best boy though. It's a big difference.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I just had to give you an answer, but favorite character? That's the goat, bro. That's the goat.
Anyway, I guess the last thing I have is that I'm finally reaching the point in Hibike, in season 2 where I'm finding the show to be very gas.
I did see that you talking about being like almost halfway through season 2, and you're like, all right, this shit's heat.
No, I'm on episode 9, so I'm basically close to being done. Yeah, it's been nice to like slow burn through this. I mean,
can see
I probably like it the same, like if I binged it, but I honestly like going through it slower. It's like maybe 1 to 2 times a week or something. Just sit down and watch it.
TVK is good.
Yeah, it'll be
I'm glad
interesting
that
to watch.
yeah.
Because I know there's the movie, and then there's the OVA, and then season 3 is coming. But I know Liz and the Bluebird is also something attached to that, so it'll be
That's
interesting.
just like a spin-off, right?
Yeah,
Just
it's
like
a spin-off with like characters from the
From
series.
TVK.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see that as its own little thing. And it is a little off-putting, the art style being different, despite it being like the same studio. But I guess that kind of like differentiates it from what's it called, like the main series in some capacity. So it's whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be fun. I've been liking it a lot because like I liked season 1, but like yeah, season 2's been pretty gas with
I think season 2 is
music
what
and drama.
sells most people for it. Like season 1 is enough. Obviously, for me, having had like orchestra bands and stuff like that be such a part of my life,
Mhm.
it was always like different. But I think for most people, season 1 was like good enough that they'll continue, but not like the greatest thing they've ever seen. And then season 2 ramped it up just enough.
Yeah.
The movie is really good too. I liked the movie.
Yeah, I saw I guess one of the interesting things is like I think season 3 is gonna be them as like third years, which is interesting because we're still in
Yes.
first year, like near the end of season 2. So like we're about to get like the fucking speed run with
Yes.
the
So
movie and then OVA.
yeah. So since you know that, it's not that big of a deal probably to say, but the movie is pretty much their second year.
I guess like a lot of season 1 and 2 are like you're basically gonna iron out a lot of the drama that would exist otherwise. So
Yeah.
um
And
yeah.
there's obviously like new first years and stuff
Yeah,
like
new
that to
characters
bring
that come
into it,
in.
but it's the first year in a show like this where the goal is to get to the third year. Because like sports anime have a similar thing too, but a lot of sports anime, that first year will kind of be like the team of destiny, right?
Yeah.
um they'll like go crazy and maybe they'll lose the first tournament and then they'll come to the second tournament and like win it all or at least get like really far. But if the goal is getting to third year, like the most important characters then for the climactic year are probably going to just be that like original freshman class. And so the first year is going to take a ton of time to develop those characters.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to, because I guess it makes sense that like year 2 would probably be the most expendable. Um, but then like
Year
we'll get
two,
a full
yeah,
season for year 3, assuming I don't even
year
know. I don't know how much
two
it'll
is
finish, but
year 2 in sports series, and I obviously Hibiki is not a sports series, but it's because the way that like concert band is formatted and the way that the competition works, the story is formatted kind of similarly ish. But in a lot of sports series, year 2 ends up being kind of like a lame duck year for a lot of them.
Sophomore slump.
Well, it's just like in all of those series, what ends up happening in sports series is that first year there's a bunch of really good third years, and then a couple really good freshmen who are like your main characters,
Mhm.
right? And then most of the second years are just kind of mid. Or it's just like 1 or 2 second years that are really good, right? And then there's a bunch of like mid players that are then gonna have to fill in the spots that we just lost from the third years graduating.
Yeah. It'll definitely be interesting to like see new. That's where I feel like a lot of the drama like could definitely come through them. It's like new people being introduced, but like it's
There's a
not
fun
guaranteed.
thing in the movie that I want to see your reaction to.
Well, we will see. Not too far from now. I'll definitely be caught up. I think like no, not even I think I will be caught up by the time season 3 drops. But I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's another decent reason to like take it slow. Is like there's gonna be a less of a like a buffer between me completing like season 2 in the movie is and stuff like that, and then season 3. Um, wonder if the OVA has been
yeah.
like
There's no
officially
reason
released
to
versus
rush.
like fans.
I hope it's been officially released.
I don't know. Either
I
way,
still
it's the
haven't
high
got to watch
seas,
it yet.
so yeah, it'll be fun. It will be fun.
That's good. I'm glad you're enjoying it now.
I
Wait,
mean, I was
PK,
always enjoying it, but like now it's like
Yeah, 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 but like, yeah,
PK, do you think the show like mirrors the band slash orchestra experience pretty well, or no?
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
it's an anime. Obviously,
it's
there's
gonna
going
be
to be some
dramatized in some
differences,
capacity.
So
but
what you're saying
like,
is your life wasn't an anime. Yeah, got it.
the way it's done is like really similar. You know, they have chair auditions or like what would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
this.
yeah.
So it's like obviously everyone in the orchestra isn't going to be in the group that actually goes and performs, and so it's you have to audition for your spot, and you have to audition to get the big solo and stuff like that, and those are all things that like actual orchestra band does.
Mhm.
And yeah, I would say it has like the vibes down, which is the main thing to me with a lot of that is it doesn't have to be a one for one. This was my experience with
Yeah, yeah,
orchestra.
yeah. I was just curious how much it matched up with like the I don't know what you want to call it, logistics or whatever of like, an actual school band. But yeah, that makes sense.
I think it matches up really well.
Good, good, good.
Yeah, I liked how the OVA as well, like actually like was pretty good. Like especially like a lot of them are just like there for like let's have like the Hot Springs episode be the OVA so we can go hog wild or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but this one actually like meant something to the characters and like it was just like a separate perspective that occurred, but it's still
Hmm.
like this is a character we didn't get to spend a lot of time with because they like you said like not every person like makes it onto like the A team, and so you get to spend time with a character who's like part of like this main group or whatever, but they're not as good as everyone else. So it was nice to see that. It's what I wish Spellblades would do with Guy.
Bro, I went into it wanting to be like a huge Guy fan, because he just seems fun. And to be fair, it's not doomed yet, but he didn't do a single thing the entire season.
Yeah, Hazuki's the guy of PBK, but she does get a lot more screen time and character stuff than he does. So
It's
eh,
just and I mean I'm sure Spellblades will have its arcs for the characters who didn't get as much. Obviously, there's only so much they can do, but we've talked about this before. I think I don't know if it was on air. The gap between some of the Spellblades characters in the main group is like really huge, and
oh,
it's
I
like
mean, yeah, it's like
noticeably
literally
huge.
gigantic. Like you have, I mean, realistically, you have two people who like have the potential to like stand on top of the world, and then you have like three other goobers, and then
And then one like
one like
relatively
relatively
normal
strong,
OP
but
character.
yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, I'll be excited to read that soon. I might actually read Angel tonight, maybe 5.5, and then I can get started on Spellblades. But I don't know. Anyway, uh, that'll probably be the end of this year episode. If you enjoyed, then or to subscribe, maybe like the video or follow whatever platform you're on. Apparently we have enough Spotify ratings to actually be rated now. We're only we're a 4.8, which I guess is good, but we only have like 6 ratings. So whoever rated us like a 4, fuck you.
Shout out.
I knew you say that.
That's fair, but I mean, still, shout out to the Raiders.
Shout out
Yeah,
to
you
the
know what?
Raiders.
I can appreciate being nice enough to at least rate us, and you know what? A 4 is not that bad. That's like
Well,
an 8.
exactly.
It's like an 80%. You know, it's a B in some like in like a college setting or something like that. So good enough. Then it's probably fair. It's probably extremely fair. However, anyway, if you are on the YouTube side of things and you'd like to go to the audio only, I'll fix the link one day. You gotta go. It's the Ordinate and Anime Podcast on whatever platform you're on will probably be there as long as you're not using some like bootleg audio platform. Audio only if you want to go to the YouTube side of things. Once again, it's the Ordinate Anime Podcast. Can't possibly miss it. We're the only one. I guess we've gotten like a light influx with the drop of the 100 Girlfriends video, because I directly mentioned the podcast in there since I mentioned the show on here. We got like a little 10 subscriber boost so far.
You guys can contribute to the ratings on Spotify. More 5s and less 4s.
Yeah, I really gotta get back to like advertising this on my main channel. I never do that anymore. I feel like a lot of the time I end up like posting a video on Saturday, and so I'm like, I don't want to put a community post too on Saturday.
Right. Too close, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this is all too close in proximity, but that didn't happen, so I'll probably like, intentionally not post on Saturdays from now on.
I do think it's, well, I guess it's kind of fair to me to have both posts on the same day, but like be offset what times they post. But at the same time, it might be a little bit not enough overlap for that, I guess is how I would
I
say.
mean, I feel like the awkward part is I'm like, I mean, I'd rather people notice the actual upload, because I don't upload that often.
Yeah.
Which, you know, well, hopefully, I mean, I guess I've been better about it recently, but, yeah, I hurt like a lot of channel momentum, I guess, because there was just such a fat gap between. There was an understandable gap between, like, Oshinoko / Hell's Paradise and then my next one, because that was like my biggest video up. It's my biggest video on my channel in terms of like length. That isn't a tier list, or some shit like that. But then after that, it was like pretty unexcusable. Like I had like a 3-month gap. I mean, it's probably like 2.5 month gap between like Medalist and Heavenly Delusion, which is a big old no. So yeah, I've been a lot more into the swing of it though recently with so there's been some motivators. I've gotten to meet a lot of people, which definitely helps motivate, and so you know we're getting there. I feel like this podcast is honestly pretty important, like keeping me in the swing of doing the content creation, because it's always like it's just here. I'm doing something every week at least technically. Yeah.
Gotcha. Grind.
Yeah. I can never forget the grind because I have to record this episode sometime in a week. So anyway, every Saturday 3 p.m. EST without fail, except for when we do, there will be a new episode up. So I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope to see you in another one. Thank you and goodbye.